Welcome to the Deutsche Post Customer Portal tutorial. The Deutsche Post Customer Portal is an online shipping tool for DHL Express customers sending international mail items on the DHL Global Mail service. DHL Global Mail is a service provided by DHL Express in collaboration with Deutsche Post, the leading mail and parcel service provider in Germany. Mail items are collected by your DHL Express driver and transported to the Deutsche Post International Post Centre. Here, the items are sorted and forwarded to the destination country via the International Mail Network, and final delivery is made by the local postal operator. The portal is simple to use and makes it easy to create labels for your mail items. CN22 customs declaration forms are automatically created when needed, and the electronic advance data required by customs authorities in the destination country is captured for submission. If you are using the Tracked or Plus services, the tracking functionality in the portal will also help you monitor the status of your mail items when the need arises. In this tutorial, we will be covering the many features of the portal, including how to enter or upload data to create labels for your DHL Global Mail items, how to print your item labels, how to create a DHL Express waybill so that the items can be shipped via the DHL Express network, and how to keep track of your items using the tracking functionality. Before we start, you will need to ensure that the pop-up blocker in your internet browser is disabled. We recommend using either Google Chrome or Internet Explorer. Some of the portal features may be restricted if another browser software is used. So now that we've prepared our browser to use the software, let's go ahead and log in. You can find the portal at www.packet.deutschepost.com. The first thing you will see when you log in is the home page. Here you can see the main navigation bar and also two sections of information under the headings News and Support. In the News section, you will see links which inform you of any important service updates or planned maintenance to the software. The Support area contains a number of useful documents which are available to download. Aside from a user manual, you will find the latest version of the e-file data import specification. The e-file data import specification provides a detailed explanation of each required data field, including the maximum field lengths and information on the data that the portal does and does not support with regards to special characters. Let's now have a look at the options available in the main navigation bar, starting with Overview. The Overview section of the portal allows you to view the shipments you have sent and to take a closer look at the items that were sent under a specific waybill number. You can also reprint labels if needed by clicking on the printer icon. In this area, you can also see any shipments that have been saved for editing. Next, we'll look at the Ship section. Ship is where you will be creating your labels. This is where you will input data, either by manually filling in the fields with the required recipient and content information, or by uploading an e-file spreadsheet. You can also prepare and print a waybill in this section. The Track and Trace section is where you can track your shipments and items as they move in transit. There are a number of options when it comes to the tracking of shipments, and you can either use the tracking number, the customer reference, or the recipient's name. And finally, we have the Report section. This is where you can download a report of shipments created previously on the portal, going back up to 180 days. This report will include a detailed export of all the recipient data and also the last available tracking events for the shipments. So, let's run through the process of creating labels for your DHL Global Mail items. If you click on Ship, it will direct you to the Create Shipment page. Here you will see some options for creating a shipment and uploading data to the portal. The first option, Upload a file for pre-labeled items, is intended for customers using third-party software to create item labels and who only need to upload data to the portal for tracking purposes. You can upload a file containing tracking numbers and customer data to the portal for it to be saved in the system. Next, we have Create Order and Prepare Labels. This is where you can either enter item data manually to create labels, or you can upload a file in the required format which already contains item data. And lastly, the Create Airway Bills function allows you to create a DHL Express waybill. If you are using the portal to create your item labels, the waybill can be created at the end of that process, so you won't need to use this function. However, you may need to use this function if you are creating your item labels offline or you are using third-party software. Let's click on Create Order and Prepare Labels, as this is the way most customers create labels. There are two options available. You can either create a new item or import data to create labels. Most customers will have multiple items to create labels for, and the easiest way to do that is to use the Import Data to Create Labels option. We'll run through how that works in a moment, but first, we'll look at the Create Item option, which is ideal if you only need to create labels for a few items. Select Create Item and click on Continue. You will be directed to this form from where you can enter all the details for the item you are creating a label for. Please note that fields marked with an asterisk are mandatory fields. In the General Information section, you need to enter the product required, the destination country, and the weight of the item you are sending. Start by selecting the product required using the pull-down menu, taking into account the content of the item you are sending. There are 3 products available: Priority, Tracked, and Plus. Further information is available in the DHL Global Mail brochure, but in summary, Priority is an untracked service. Tracked provides end-to-end tracking, and Plus is a signature upon delivery service. Select one of the document options if you are sending items containing personal correspondence with no commercial value, or select one of the options for goods if you are sending items with a commercial value. The key difference between the two is that a CN22 declaration will be included as part of the label for items containing goods, but not for items containing documents, as it is not required. Please note the tracked product can be used to send items containing documents or goods, but there is only one option in the pull-down menu, as the label is the same for both. In this example, we are going to send an item containing goods on the priority product. The service level field can be left as priority, as this is the only delivery speed available on the DHL Global Mail service. Select the destination from the pull-down menu, and in this case, we are sending to the United States. You will notice that a new set of fields appear at the bottom of the page, where customs information can be added. Enter the weight of the item in grams, and then you have the possibility to add a sender customs reference. This can be used to add your EORI or VAT number. We can then move on to add the details of the recipient. The customer reference field can be used to add your own reference information, for example, an order number or departmental code. Importer customs reference allows you to add information which will be required during the import clearance process. Add the name of the recipient, and then you will have the option to add an email address and a phone number. If an email address is added, this will be used to send an email to the recipient, notifying them when the item is sent, and providing a link to any tracking details. A phone number can be useful to enable the destination post office to contact the recipient as part of the delivery process. For example, this can be used to send a text message prior to delivery. Enter the address details, ensuring all of the mandatory fields are completed. The Customs section allows you to add the details which will be used to create the CN22 declaration. Start by entering the currency used for the valuation of the item. In this case, the item was purchased in euros. Next, select the content type which most accurately describes the item you are sending. For example, select Sale of Goods if the item contains goods which have been purchased by the recipient. Then proceed to add the details of the contents of the item. Enter the quantity, a detailed content description, the weight in grams, and the declared value in the currency previously selected. A harmonized system or commodity code is optional, but can be helpful during the import clearance process in the destination country. Finally, enter the country of origin. This is the country where the item was manufactured. If your item contains more than one type of content, you can add up to 5 separate lines of information using the Add Content button. If you are ready to proceed to the next step, select Continue. An overview of the items created is shown, and the next step is to print the labels. Before we do that, let's take a look at the other way of entering item data, which is to use the Import Data to Create Labels option. This option allows you to upload a file containing data and is the best option if you have multiple item labels to prepare. It's fast and easy to use, but it relies on the file to be uploaded having all the required data in the correct format. To help you with this, a template can be downloaded by clicking here. The template will open in Excel as a CSV file, where the field values are separated by a semicolon. You can then select column A and use the Text to Columns function in the Data tab to show the data in columns. Select Delimited in step 1 and click Next. Select Semicolon in step 2 and click Next. The column data format can be left as General in step 3, and then you can click Finish. The data for each field will now be shown in separate columns. You can find an explanation of each column in the file called eFile Data Import Specification, which is also available in the Support section on the home page. But a few things to be aware of are as follows. Column A is where you will input the product code for the required service. There are 5 options available as shown here. It is important that the correct code is entered to ensure that the item is sent on the right service and that the correct price is charged. In column D and E, we have the waybill number and the item barcode. If you are using the portal to create labels, these columns can be left empty. If you are using the portal to upload data for tracking purposes and have already pre-labeled your items, then you will need to add these details. Moving on to column Q, we have the destination country. The field requires the 2-digit ISO country code only, so DE for Germany and US for the United States, for example. A full list of country codes is available in the e-file data import specification. Once the file is complete, it needs to be saved as a CSV document. Your file is now ready to be uploaded to the portal. Going back to the portal, select Import Data to create labels and click on Continue. You will then be prompted to select the file containing the data you would like to upload. Once you have selected the file, the next step is to click on Upload File. Before we do that, you can see that there are 2 different character encoding methods available. ANSI is most commonly used, but UTF-8 can be selected if there are any special characters in the data that will need to be translated to enable the data to be uploaded. Let's go ahead and click on Upload File. If there were any errors in the data in the uploaded file, the portal would let us know, and we would not be able to proceed with the upload. In this example, there were no errors, and the file was uploaded successfully. The next step is to print the item labels, and the first step is to select the printer type that you are using. Then you have the option to print all items or just some of the items in the data. At this stage, it's still possible to edit the data for each item, and you can do this by clicking the red pencil icon. You can also delete an item by clicking the trash can icon. Lastly, you have the option of adding another item or uploading another e-file. If you are not ready to print your labels, click Save for Later. This will automatically store the order for editing later and take you back to the overview screen. If you are ready to proceed with printing the labels, click Print Labels. The labels will open in a new tab on your browser. As you can see, the items containing goods have a CN22 customs declaration on the left side of the label. But this is not required for the items containing documents. All of the labels have the Deutsche Post postage paid impression, or PPI, in the top right corner, and this includes the PO Box number, which will be used for the return of any undeliverable items. Now, if we go back to the portal, you can see that these items are now highlighted in yellow to show that they've been printed. Once you are ready to proceed, you can click Continue. Please be aware that this is the last point at which you can amend item details or save the order for later. If we click Continue, this will now take us to the Print Paperwork screen. This is where you can create the DHL Express waybill, which will be used to transport your global mail items to the Deutsche Post International Mail Center. You need to enter a contact name and a phone number. You can also enter a job reference, but this field is not mandatory. The final step is to select the number of waybill copies required, and this will depend on how many flyer bags, mail sacks, or boxes you have placed your mail items in. For example, if your mail is packed in 3 mail sacks, you would need to print 3 copies of the waybill. Click Print Paperwork and Confirm, and a confirmation message will appear. If everything is OK, click Yes, and the waybill will download as a PDF document. Securely attach 1 copy of the waybill to each mail sack. The last copy is for handing to the DHL Express driver when the shipment is collected. Please note that the portal will not book a collection for you. You will need to do this with your DHL Express account manager, or you can do this on My DHL Plus. Back on the portal, we have this pop-up. This confirms that email notifications have been sent for any items where an email address was included in the data. Once you click Confirm, the portal will take us back to the Overview screen. On the Overview screen, you can see your customer information at the top, including your account number. Below that, there is a single waybill query tool. As your orders grow, you can use this to search for a specific shipment. Now that these orders have been submitted, we can no longer amend or edit the details in them. However, there are a number of options available. Clicking on this icon allows you to view the details of the shipment. The latest tracking information will also be shown here for the items. When the bag is picked up by your DHL driver, the tracking notification for the shipment will change to Shipment Picked Up, and once it arrives in IPZ, you will get the scan to show this. Once the items arrive in IPZ, the airway bill will no longer track, but the items themselves will continue to track as they are scanned and prepared for export. Back on the Overview page, clicking on the printer icon allows you to reprint the paperwork for the shipment. This will take you back to this screen where you can reprint the waybill if needed. If you click back, you can also reprint the labels for the items included in that shipment. Lastly, you can download a summary of the order. This is a CSV file, similar to the e-file that we uploaded, that will include all of the customer data on it. In the Track and Trace section, you can track the status of your shipments at waybill level or at individual item level. When you click on Search Shipments, it will display all of the shipments sent on your account. To find an individual waybill, enter the waybill number in the search field. You can then click on the waybill number or the items link on the right to see details of the waybill and the items that were linked to that waybill. You can also use the Search Items function to search for individual items. You can search using the item tracking number, the recipient's name, or the order reference. The final section on the navigation bar is Reporting. Here, you can download a report showing items that were sent during a specific date range, including the last available tracking event. You can create reports for items sent up to 180 days in the past, and the maximum time period for each report is 31 days. That concludes the Deutsche Post portal tutorial. But if you have any questions or require further information, please contact your DHL Express account manager or your local Deutsche Post sales support team.